Dear students, welcome to the part 3 of machine learning course. In this particular session, we are going to discuss two major concepts, supervised learning and unsupervised learning. So before moving into the different learning categories, in the previous lecture we discussed about how do machines learn. In that particular question we identified four stages in the learning process: data storage, abstraction, generalization and evaluation. So in this particular session, here we can see how this machine learning in practice. So how the learning process in machine learning scenario works. So in the learning process, we identified the four steps like data storage, abstraction, generalization, and evaluation. And these four steps are converted to 5 different stages in the case of machine learning. These 5 steps are: the first thing is data collection. So gathering the valuable materials, and it should be converted into a single source like a text file or a spreadsheet or an Excel sheet like that. That is data collection stage. The second stage is data exploration and preparation. That is checking the quality of the data, then prepare the data for learning process. Checking the quality means whether the data is having some noise values, or we have to clean the messy data, eliminating unnecessary data and recording proper data. That is data exploration and preparation stage. The third step is model training, selection of an appropriate algorithm, and the algorithm will represent the data in the format of a model. The fourth step in the machine learning practice is model evaluation, evaluating the accuracy of a model using a test data set. And the fifth stage is model improvement. If better performance is in the fourth stage we evaluate the accuracy of the model. If we want to improve the model to a better performance scenario, we use some advanced strategies to improve the performance of the model, or else we have to switch to some other different model. So these are the different stages in machine learning: data collection, data preparation and exploration, then model training, model evaluation, and finally model improvement. Actually, this 5 steps comes from the basic 4-step learning process. Here data collection and data exploration and preparation, all these things are the first scenario. That is the data storage, that is data collection is same as that of data storage. Then data exploration and preparation, that is same as that of the abstraction stage as well as the generalization stage. And model training, which is mainly focused on the generalization stage, and model evaluation. The evaluation stage is split up into two: evaluate the existing model, and the same time model improvement facilities also available in machine learning mechanism. If any further improvement is needed, we have to use some advanced strategy, or we have to switch to some other model. So far we discussed about the different stages in the learning process as well as in the case of machine learning. Now we are trying to understand the data. What are the different types of data available? The different types of input data. Unit of observation. The first core term related to data is unit of observation. That is the smallest entity with measured properties of interest for a study. For example, it should be a person, or it should be an object, or it should be a transaction, or it will be some time point, or a geographical location, or some measurement values like that. Unit of observation can be combined if required. For example, if you are specifying the speed of a car, it should be represented in kilometer per hour. Likewise, we can combine different units: person years, kilometer per hour, like that. The next unit of analysis, smallest unit from which the inference is made. That is, from the smallest unit of data, that can be used for making the conclusions. That is termed as unit of analysis. For example, it can be an individual or a group or a time point like that. Now we see what is a data set. Data set means it's a storage area of a large amount of data. Stores the units of observation and their properties. Collection of data consists of examples as well as features. So just remember the case of a relation in terms of in case of database management system. Relation means a table. We know a table is having rows as well as column. Each row can be treated as an example for the corresponding or an instance for that particular table, and each column is termed as an attribute. So here in machine learning, we normally say the data is in the format of a data set. That is, a table can be termed as a data set, and in case of data, a row can be termed as an example, and a column can be treated as a feature. So examples means instances of the unit of observation for which properties have been recorded. Features means these are recorded properties or attributes of example that may be useful for learning. For example, to build a learning algorithm to identify spam email. Here the unit of observation is email messages. That is the email messages that we have to observe. Then examples. We are having some spam messages. What all are the words inside the advertisement messages like that. Then what are the features? Consist of the words used in the corresponding message. For a spam email, we are having some ad pics or some terms like uh, some ad terms like it's limited, private limited, or solutions, something like that. So this is just a scenario to explain what should be the unit of observation, what are examples, then what are the features. So here in learning a particular spam email mechanism, the unit of observation is a email message itself. The example is all the email message should be treated as an each email is an example. Then features are what should be the content and the title of the corresponding email. Likewise. Now we will see more about the features. We see the data can be in the format of data can be stored in the format of different attributes. For attributes, we know that data can be represented in numerical format, that is termed as numerical data, or else we can represent the data in the format of strings. Such type of data is known as categorical or nominal data, and we are having one more data is termed as ordinal data. All these things we already discussed in the statistics, the basics of statistics, different types of data. Numerical data is there, categorical data is there, quantitative, qualitative data. All these things are comes in the various forms of features. So we are having three major forms of data: numeric form, categorical or nominal form, and ordinal form. The first form is numerical feature or numerical data. So the major idea behind numerical feature is that the feature represents a characteristic which is measured in numbers. So for this particular attribute, the data is in the format of a number. Here in the bottom right hand corner, you can see a table like so many numerical values. This is an example for numerical feature. Examples are the number of black pixels, noise ratios, length of sounds, relative power, frequency of specific terms, likewise. Then another feature is, or another division of feature is categorical or nominal data. Categorical or nominal data means an attribute that consists of a set of categories which allows you to assign categories. Example, gender field. Gender field, here the sex is given. It can be either specified as male or female. Likewise, the color of a ball. Color of ball can be any of the color like red, green, blue. We cannot represent these things in numerical quantity. We can represent it in the format of some string value. That is termed as, that type of data is termed as categorical or nominal data. Here, you can see the third column here. It is a drink, Pepsi, Coke. Likewise, the data is like that. And the next category is food. Food here, the representation is like carnivore, vegetarian, pescatarian, like that, vegan, like that. So this type of data is termed as categorical data. So numerical data means data is in the format of numbers. Categorical data or nominal data means data should be represented in the format of some characters. The next feature of data is ordinal feature. Ordinal feature means a nominal variable with categories falling in an ordered list. So a categorical variable for which the possible values are ordered. For example, the size. We know that the size can be represented in the format of XX, S, M, L, XL, like that. That is extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, likewise. Or a measurement of customer satisfaction, like we have to mark the in a 5 scale grade, like not satisfied, satisfied, somewhat satisfied, likewise. So here is a diagram which showing disgusting, then unappetizing, then neutral, tasty, delicious. This is an example for showing the level of acceptance or level of preference. An ordered manner is assigned for the categorical data, that is termed as ordinal feature. Now we are moving to the major categories of machine learning algorithms. Machine learning algorithms are divided into two categories: predictive model and descriptive model. And based on these models, we are having learning algorithms, and these learning algorithms are categorized into two learning mechanisms: supervised learning mechanism and unsupervised learning mechanism. We will see all these things in detail. So supervised learning and unsupervised learning are two different or opposing scenarios. So before moving to the supervised learning and unsupervised learning, we will see what is predictive model and what is descriptive model. Predictive model. In the case of predictive model, it is used for tasks that involve the prediction of one value using other values in the dataset. So in predictive model, this predictive model is used to predict some value. So this model is used for predicting some value using some other values which is already available in the dataset. The learning algorithm attempt to discover and model the relationship between the target features and the other features. So in predictive model, what the algorithm should do is, the algorithm should identify the relationship between the target feature and all the other features. Example, supervised learning algorithms. Now let us see the scenario of supervised learning. Supervised learning is the process of training a predictive model. So in the case of supervised learning algorithm, it attempts to optimize a model or a function to find the combination of feature values that result in the target output. Or we can say the supervised learning is a learning mechanism where we have input variables x and an output variable y is there, and we use an algorithm to learn the mapping function from the input to the output, that is y is equal to fx. So in the supervised learning scenario, we are having the input data and we know about what will be the output variable y. So input is fixed as well as output is fixed. We have to identify a mapping from the input variable x to the output variable y, and that function is termed as f of x. So y is equal to f of x is the case of supervised learning. Once more, supervised learning means input and output are predefined. We have to identify a function from input variable to the output. Example, example for supervised learning are the classification task. It is a task of predicting which category an example belongs to, or we say that it is a classifier. Example, we could predict whether an email message is spam or not. Then another example is a person, which is we having the data of some person, we have to predict whether he is a cancerous, whether he is having cancer or not. Then another type of prediction is a football team, whether it will win or lose. So these are some examples for classification tasks. For the first thing, the scenario is that the classification procedure should work on email messages. So our input is email messages and output value should be spam, or the output result is not spam. We have to find a mapping from this input messages to the final resultant data like spam or not spam data. So this is the basic idea of supervised learning. A predefined input as well as output variables are there. That is, input and output are fixed. We have to find out the mapping from input to output. Now move on to the descriptive model. In case of descriptive model, no single feature is more important than any other. That is, all the features in the data set are having equal importance and there will be no target to learn. In the previous scenario, we discussed about the cases like whether a football team will win or lose. The output is win or lose. So in this descriptive model, there will be no output data, no fixed output is there. It is a process of training. A descriptive model is termed as unsupervised learning, and descriptive modeling task involves pattern discovery as well as clustering. So the major learning scenario which comes under the descriptive model is unsupervised learning. And the major task comes under the descriptive model is pattern discovery and clustering. And in case of pattern discovery, we are used to identify useful associations within the data. We are having a large amount of data. Using that data, we are trying to identify any particular pattern is following. The data is following any particular pattern or not. For example, the market basket analysis. If some persons are buying bread, whether they buy jam or not. Person who are buying bread has a tendency to buy jam like that. Then another important task is clustering. Clustering means dividing a data set into homogeneous groups. So we are having the large data set. We have to identify the characteristics of this particular data. Based on some similar characteristics, we have to cluster the data. That is, for example, groups of individuals with similar behavior. So unsupervised learning is the learning scenario which comes under the descriptive learning. We have input data X but no corresponding output variables. In case of supervised learning, the input data as well as output data is fixed, but in case of unsupervised learning, we are having the input data but we are not having any idea about what will be the output. The goal for unsupervised learning is to model the underlying structure or distribution in the data in order to learn more about the data. So the unsupervised learning aim is to model the underlying structure or the distribution of the data. The major things comes under the unsupervised learning is clustering and association. To some algorithms which is belonging to clustering as well as association as k-means is an important algorithm for clustering. Then a priori algorithm which is used for association rule learning problems. So here you can get an idea about the different types of machine learning algorithm and what type of task the corresponding algorithm belongs to, and the algorithm is whether the algorithm is a supervised machine learning algorithm or unsupervised learning algorithm. All these things are specified here. So Under the supervised learning algorithms, we are having nearest neighbor, naive Bayes, decision trees, and classification rule learners for classification purposes. The algorithms like linear regression, regression trees, model trees can be used for numeric prediction purposes. Then neural networks as well as support vector machine, both these algorithms can be used for classification as well as numeric prediction purposes. So these are things which comes under the supervised learning algorithm. And in case of unsupervised algorithm, we are having association rules and k-means clustering. Association rules are used for pattern detection and k-means clustering is used for clustering purposes. So these are some of the major algorithms in machine learning. Hope you understood the basics of supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Thank you.